Hi, everyone. My name is Cherie, and today I will be doing part two of discussing the hard topics that no one wants to speak about. And today we're going to be speaking about the beneficiary mistakes that break a families apart. And so let's get into it. All right. And so now let's get into something a lot of people get wrong, and they don't even realize until it's like the beneficiary form. The beneficiary form is one of the most important documents tied to your life insurance. It literally tells the insurance companies if I die, this is who should get the money. Simple, right? But this one form has caused so much confusion, more court battles, and more hurt feelings than anything else I ever seen. Mistake one, I'm family. I don't need to be listed. Let me make this very clear. Just because you're someone's child, spouse, or sibling, that does not automatically make you the beneficiary. The person, the owner of the policy, they have the right to pick and choose who they want to be the beneficiary. Just because you're their child, don't necessarily mean that they're gonna put you on there, list you as a beneficiary. Even if you're their spouse, they may not list you. They may list their children only. It's just so many different scenarios that can play out to this and filling out a beneficiary designation form. And it's their right, it's their choice, it's their money. Some people even have their money not go to any relative. They would just donate it to a church, a charity. So it's so many different ways. So that's why you need to discuss with family, let to see if you are a beneficiary or not. That way you will know and won't have any heartaches or confusion. And so the insurance company, they're not looking at your relationship. They're looking at the form. If your name is on it, you're in. If it's not, you're not. And it's just that simple. They look at the paperwork. And then mistake number two, I don't need a backup. Here's the next big one. No contingent beneficiary. Let's say you name your spouse as the only beneficiary, but then both of you pass away in an accident or your spouse dies first and you never updated it. Guess what happens? When you take a guess, I'll tell you what's going to happen. That means the money that goes to your estate, which means probate courts gets involved. That means delays, legal fees, stress, and potentially lost some of that money to the creditors. So always name the contingent beneficiary, someone who receives the funds if your primary beneficiary cannot. If your primary beneficiary is no longer here, it will trickle down to the contingent, and the contingent can get it. And let's just say the primary and the contingent are no longer here. You can also trickle it down to a tractary, triarity. I'm not pronouncing it. And it's a third person that could get the benefits. Okay. And then that's mistake number three. Naming a minor without a plan. We talked about this earlier in part one, but I need to say it again. Do not name your child directly unless you have a custodian or trust in place. Courts don't hand life insurance checks to 8-year-olds. That money gets frozen. The court picks someone to manage it, and that might not be the person you want. You can lose all control. And so a minor cannot cash a check. A minor cannot sign documents. That's why you want to have legal things in place to protect your minor child. Make sure it's someone trustworthy. Make sure it's someone that you know 100% sure they will not misuse your child's funds Like they won't spend that money for their own purposes because it can happen. You have people that feel like they're entitled to the money because they had a child. Just as like, let me just give you an example. Let's say you had a child by, let's say he was your boyfriend, okay, and his name was John. John passed away, and you have a child by him, and so John listed his child. Just gonna give a name. His child Sam as the beneficiary, and he's a minor, but Sam can't get that money. And so let's say there is a form, and there are so many different types of forms, but let's just say this one is called a Uniform Transfer to Minor Act. Or there is one where you could go to court and get letter of guardianship over your child's funds, and if you get letter of guardianship over your child's financial estate, that means that person, whoever got the guardianship, they could get those funds and just misuse them for their own purposes. And that's not right because let's say that's the mother and they feel like, okay, well, that's my child, so that's my money too. No, that doesn't work like that. That's actually that child's money, not yours. But some parents, they, their kid, they feel like they're entitled and they will use that money on their own personal wealth. And let's say that child gets to be 18 and they found out that they had money, then they're gonna start asking questions, Mom, where my money at? Or Dad, where my money at? Whoever has guardianship, it can be the mom or the dad or a aunt, grandma, whoever. And they're gonna want to know what happened to the money that my mom or my dad left me. Where is it at? And you done spent their money. So it could go so many ways. That's why a trust is best to protect the minor because you don't have the right to spend a child's money just because you feel entitled. It wasn't left to you. It's not your money. Yeah, it may help you take care of your child, but at the end of the day, that's still their money. It's not yours, so you shouldn't be touching it. And that's just the reality. Regardless of how you would feel about it, it's not yours to touch. It's the child. It was left to them. But that could happen. So that is one of the situations some people face. I actually had a call one time about a caller that called me, and a girl, her mom had left her some money, and she found out about it, and she turned 18, and her money was gone because her sister spent her money. Her sister had guardianship over her because, and it wasn't nothing we could do because at the end of the day, once the money was paid out, it's out of our control. It's out of the life insurance company control. Once that money is sent to the guardian, we have no legal right to it after that. We can't tell the person not what to and what not to do, but that's what it is. Then they'll have to take that up in legal court. They have to go to civil court, and that's that's more money being spent, more family issues. So you want to protect your child at all costs. Okay. And let's continue. And we want to go to mistake number 4 is where your form doesn't add up to 100%. Your form must equal 100% when you fill out the beneficiary destination form. This one happens more than you think. When you're filling out the beneficiary form, you must assign percentages that total exactly 100%. If you leave it blank, write all my kids, or if your math is off, like 50, 30, and 30, the company might reject it or hold payments until it's corrected. So here's how to do it the right way. let's say you have $100,000 policy, and this is option one. You just have one beneficiary. Let's say your son name is Sean Williams. You want to put the social, the relationship, he is your son, the date of birth of your son, and the percentage. So you only have one beneficiary. It needs to equal 100%. So you'll put 100%. It's done. It's just that simple. It's not hard. It's very easy. Then this goes to the next one. Let's say option two. Let's say you have two kids, okay, and you want them equally to get equal amounts. Let's say the same example, which was what, 100,000. Okay, all right. So that means you're gonna split that $100,000 equally. So that means that Sean is going to get 50% and Kayshawn is going to get 50%, which means that Sean will get 50,000 and Kayshawn will get 50,000 because it's 50% of the 100,000. So that's 50,000 each. It's split equally. Okay. And again, you want to make sure you have the social, their name, their relationship, and the percentage. And it equals 50 plus 50 equal 100. That's how you would do. Now, there's another option that you could do. And this is an uneven distribution. Let's just say you want to give Sean 70% and Kason only get 30%. You could do that. It still equals 100%. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. That's just what you feel like. You feel like Sean needs it more. I don't know. Whatever your decision is, why you decide to do an uneven distribution, that's your purpose. That's your choice. But you can do that. Now, let's say you got four kids. You could all give them 25% apiece because it's still equal 100%. Let's say you have three kids. You could give them, if you want to equally, you could give them 33.3%. That still equals 100%. Unevenly, let's say you want to do Sean 60% and Kason 40%. It's still 100%. Long as it adds up to 100%, you're good. That's all that matters. But if you accidentally write 60-60 or 40-20-20-20, that form can be kicked back. And if you already passed away, your family will be still wondering what to do next. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Take your time, fill out the form, and make sure that the beneficiary percentage always equal 100%. And this just a quick tip. That's what I was just stating. Just write the full legal name, no nicknames. I have seen where people have put nicknames on the beneficiary destination form. It is so confusing. That's another issue. And then people call in and they give their nicknames or, and we're like we have to verify you just to make sure you who you are, you that person. You cannot give a nickname. You have to use your government name legally. And you cannot put that on a form because then you're going to have to send in more paperwork like a driver's license or a birth certificate or something to show proof that you are who you are because they didn't put nicknames for whatever reason. Ask the people for their real name, or if you don't know it, or if you should know if you put them on your paperwork, and you want to include the birth dates, you want to include the social, what their relationship is, and again, make sure it's 100%, and you always want to name the contingent just in case. Make sure you have a contingent, and you want to review your beneficiary information every year because life happens. You could have get married, you could have got a divorce, could have had a new baby. Someone that was on the beneficiary destination form could have passed away. And you just want to make sure you always updating your information. Because if you don't, then there's another issue. Because now you have someone that shouldn't be, if you divorce, maybe you went to court and then the court says, okay, when they get the divorce decree, it could say that person, your ex, is not entitled to the life insurance, only the children. So now we have to ask you for the divorce decree. So it's so many ways to that this could play out. And then if the person passes away and you never updated it, now we got to ask for that person's death certificate as well as so you have to send in multiple death certificates to prove that this person is no longer living because you failed to update the beneficiary form. So just be mindful to update every year, every so often, or when a new event occurs, just make sure you update it. It doesn't take that long to update. It only probably takes about 5 minutes out of your day to do that. Or if you're calling on the phone just to get someone to send the information over so that you can update it, then yeah, it may take about 30 minutes, just depending on the phone call. But other than that, it's still less than an hour that you just complete this and be done and over with. Okay. All right. So again, like I said, you will not believe how many families think a policy was in place, only to find out that it was incomplete, outdated, and listed to the wrong people. So I have so many people crying on the phone saying she would have never wanted it this way, but it's too late to get someone's wishes once they're gone. That's why we don't just need policies, we need instructions. So keep everything aligned. And you want to love your people loud, love them in writing, love them in paperwork, because your name on the form is louder than 100 memories when it comes to legal documents. It's very, very important. The insurance company don't look at just because you're kin to someone, they look at the paperwork. That's what they go by. And so I want you to stay tuned. I will be discussing part three. We'll be discussing what happens if there is no beneficiary. And so, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're going to keep this going. I'm going to discuss a lot of different things on how to fill out the trust as well. So, I'm going to be uploading. It's going to be some series. So, it's going to be more parts, okay, coming. And next one again is going to be part three, okay? Thank you guys for listening. And as always, love yourself, love your family, get your things in order. Just talk about it. It's not that hard. It may be difficult, but it's something that has to be done, okay? Just get out that fear. And I want to say personally, me, myself, I'm an introvert. You wouldn't even think it. I'm shy. Well, I used to be very, very shy. I'm not as shy as I used to be, but um when it comes to the important things, I just make sure I know I want my kids to be protected because I have minors, So just want to get everything aligned. If I know if I could do it, you could do it. And I'm trying to do this YouTube thing, but I just want to educate too, just to let people know. Because there are so many people that are unaware of just what to do. And just like I say, I work this type of job day by day. I heard so many different stories, and it's just not life insurance. I also handle critical illness claims, hospital indemnity, accidental death or dismemberment. I mean, I handle all different claims, but the life insurance itself, that's the one that really gets you because it's so much emotion attached to it. so much unnecessary drama. Some things could be preventable. It's just a lot. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to talk your head off. Just again, just stay tuned for part 3, okay? I'll talk to you soon.